Like a guy? So my biggest pet peeve in life is being told what to do. I'm sure that's an excellent adventure for my wife to navigate. So when I become aware that someone or something is attempting to make my decisions for me, I dig deep and do all the searching I can to make sure that I've made such a decision for myself, independent of outside demand. I read a book called Gender Outlaw when I was 19 years old, and I realized then that I, along with billions of other people on the planet, allow gender to tell me what to do, how I can act, who I should be, and who I should love. The seed was planted. Months later, I remember lying in bed listening to the album Pinkerton by Weezer. I guess no Weezer fans? So I've always loved Weezer. I've been a big fan of Weezer ever since Buddy Holly came out, which was always sort of odd to me because I wasn't attracted to any of the band members, like at all, like physically attracted, like at all. And this was, of course, before I had realized my own non-attraction to male bodies. So I laid in bed and I listened to the songs and I began to identify with Rivers. He's the lead singer of the band. And he was lamenting about a girl who had left him. And then in the next song, he was singing about how he was so tired of having so much sex with so many women. And in the next song, he was talking about lust and longing with a Japanese fangirl from across the ocean. And I was filled with desire. Not for River, but for his experiences. It would be a few more years before I really embraced this desire, and in so doing, end a relationship with a guy who had moved halfway across the country to live with me as I attended a graduate program in Colorado. During that first year coming out, I again found myself dependent upon the words, thoughts, and experiences of men to help me through. The song Yeah by Usher came out that year. Anyone know that song? Yeah. And it was as though he crawled into my head, stole my thoughts, and turned them into fabulous beats for dancing the night away. I was going to sing a little bit of it, and then I realized I'm really not a singer, and I don't want to torture y'all, and you seem like nice people, so I'm not going to. But anyway, did he watch me at the club and then go home and write that song? I'm guessing not, but it really did feel that way. And so what does it mean then to feel like a guy when thinking about things like sex or other things, but at the same time, love all of the parts of myself that are all girl all the way? It meant that at the time, my dreams of becoming a gender outlaw were no longer these pie-in-the-sky dreams about the way I could be in the world. But I had begun to tell gender that I was the boss of me and all of my gendered actions. So some of you at this point might be thinking, what the hell is this girl talking about? For example, something like, I love my penis, I love man stuff, I hate girl stuff, and no one or no thing is telling me to be that way. I don't necessarily disagree. But if you're all guy all the way, enjoying inhabiting your male body, without identifying with things that girls think, in love with all the activities and experiences lauded as masculine, I just wonder if you're grateful for it. Same for the ladies who don't feel they have a masculine cell in their body. Are you grateful that your heart, mind, and body are eager to do what gender asks? See, the point of all of this isn't to tell gender to take a hike for the sake of telling gender to take a hike. The point of questioning gender is to empower yourself through your gender, rather than letting it power you. There's a strong link between the ability to choose and gratefulness, and an even stronger link between gratefulness and joy. So if you look at what your gender tells you to do, say, think, and feel, and you agree, you increase your chances for being grateful for this symbiotic relationship with gender. And with this increased gratitude comes an increased gender joy. 13 years after coming out and relying so heavily upon the experiential narratives of men to validate and commiserate my own thoughts and experiences, I have found the experience of men to be crucial once more in being able to understand myself and normalize my life. My wife and I have a child. During our hospital stay, after my wife gave birth, I was in the cafe grabbing breakfast by myself when I ran into one of the dads from our Lamaze class. He said, "I will never be able to look at my wife the same way. She is a warrior. She grew our child. Before now, I never thought I could love her even 1 ounce more. And still, with the birth of my child, I love her 10 times more than I ever did before." I have never heard or thought of a more accurate description about how I felt about the birth of my child and my wife's role in it. When shit got real with a newborn at home, I needed the support of other dads. I needed the forums for new dads that popped up when I Googled, "My wife and I just had a baby. She hates me. Will she ever love me again?" And for those of you who don't have children, she does love me. She loves me very much, as I learned in those forums for dads, and then later when, she told me. It's the words of fellow fathers that soothe and continue to soothe my parenting distresses the most. And if I changed my gender presentation, and I called myself a dude, but changed nothing about my duties, roles, or experiences as a parent, I would pass as a father 100%. Woo! Woo! Yeah. I want to be clear. Being attracted to women does not make me a guy. It does, however, give me a lot of similar experiences to a lot of guys. If I let gender have power over me, and to tell me to shy away from my masculine desires and attractions, there's no way I could be standing here in these 5-inch heels with this makeup and this little black dress, loving nothing more in the world than fathering my child and loving my wife. I wouldn't have the peace and solace I found from sharing very gendered experiences with other guys. The takeaway tonight really depends upon how much your desired experiences in life line up with the desired experiences that gender expects for you, depending on your physical body. For the folks where it all lines up for you, where doing what gender asks simply means doing what you would have done anyway, I hope you walk away tonight with some newfound joy, born of the gratitude for how your gender has been kind to you. And for the rest of us, the gender outlaws, the ones who tell gender to take her ideas about femininity belonging to vaginas and masculinity belonging to penises and shove it, I hope you walk away tonight knowing that this girl is one of the guys. And you can be too. And also, that being one of the guys doesn't mean you can't be one of the girls too. It means you've taken the power back from gender. So own it. Thank you.